Redline Logbook here for Danmachi's Explaining Skills Part 2. And we're actually going to start off with one of Mikito's skills, Yatatano Black Crow. This skill is a search skill. It specifically targets enemies, monsters specifically, and it only works on monsters that she's already seen. And when I say monster that she's seen, I mean that monster's race. I don't just mean a specific monster. So if she's seen one Minotaur, then her search ability works on all Minotaurs. This skill also works on monsters that are hidden, so even if it is a stealth-based monster that does surprise attacks, it will not affect her. This skill is not on automatically. She has to choose to activate it, and it has a limited range, obviously, that range being it's quite massive. The distance is that of an entire palace. I say this because she has another search ability, which we'll talk about, which was able to search all of Ischar's familiar home. And this skill is just that skill's counterpart. This skill also does not work on non-monsters. We know this because 1, she can't sense any other actually humanoid, and 2, it didn't work on the Xenos. Our second skill is Yatatano White Crow, which is the counter to Black Crow. This skill allows her to sense anyone with her god's blessing. When she was in the Takemichi Familia, she could sense all of them. But when she transferred to the Hestia Familia now, she can only sense the Hestia Familia members. And once again, it's not just members, it's anyone who has Hestia's blessing. We know this because she was able to sense the Hestia knife, which technically was given Hestia's blessing. That's the special ability of the Hestia knife. And thanks to this, that's actually why we know the range of her ability is that of basically a mansion, because the thing that she found whilst using this ability was the Hestia knife that was stored away in this Char vault. Now the main reason why Mikito was able to get both of these skills, both the Black Crow and the White Crow, is because she went through pretty intense ninja training. And so she developed skills to aid her in this. As a ninja, she has a tendency to fight in pure blindness because she uses smoke bombs and such. With this ability, she now is able to avoid killing her allies, but at the same time take down her enemies. Sight is not a factor. Third skill is Fairy Cannon. This belongs to Leafia, and it's perfect for a mage like her because it increases her magic power when casting a spell, and it doubles the power of that spell when it's an attack spell. This is why Leafia is referred to as a monster even by other mages, because her output is beyond anything that they could wish to replicate. At just level 3, she was able to obliterate an entire army of level 4 monsters, and as a pseudo level 5, thanks to Haruhime's level boost, she was able to pierce the chest and destroy the magic stone of a level 7 monster. Next skill is Berserk. It is possessed by both the Amazon sisters, Tion and Tiona. The funny thing is, it's the same skill, but they have 2 different abilities with their skill. So the way Tiona's works is the more damage she takes, the more powerful she becomes. You can tell this by the amount of red that is burning off of her body. It's kind of like her blood is literally boiling. This is the same for the older sister, Tion, where she's also turning red and she's getting more powerful the more damage she takes, but she also becomes more powerful the angrier she gets. This is because they both have that weird personality duality thing, where Tiona is the bubbly happy one, and Tion is the angry vicious one. And so she was granted an extra ability to her Berserk skill. The 2 major weaknesses for both of these skills is 1, there's an upper limit, so you can't get infinitely strong based on this, and 2, getting the shit beat out of you is going to wear you down eventually. It doesn't matter if it is making you physically stronger. What makes the Amazon sisters so absurd is that they don't just have one skill that increases their power through physical damage, they have a second one. This time their abilities are different and they have different effects. Tion's is Backdraft. It activates when she's near death, so it doesn't just require damage, it requires her being on the verge of death. And the closer she gets to that line of death, the more power she gets. And what does the ability do? It increases her physical strength, which makes perfect sense because once again, Tion has always been the aggressive older sister, violence, anger, punching with everything she's got. Tiona, on the other hand, has an ability called Overheat while she's near death, because once again, doesn't require massive damage. What it requires is you on the verge of dying. This, the closer you get to death, the faster you are. Your agility increases. Once again, showing Tiona's personality. When she fights, she's very bubbly, always moving, even when she's fighting, and so increasing her agility just makes perfect sense. This just proves that skills are very much like personality. While they're very similar because they're twins, at the same time, they're still different people, and so their abilities are different. Okay, the next ability is Ulfalheim, which is this skill is held by Bet. Okay, to explain this, I'm going to have to explain beastification. Beastification happens to any animal race when they hit certain condition. For a werewolf, the condition is a full moon, and when this happens, a werewolf's stats just increase dramatically. They get more speed, strength, endurance, everything. They're just better all over. It's not on par with an entire level up, but it's still a significant power to the point where Bet has even said in Beastification he's stronger with eyes when she's not using her wind. He uses that caveat. Now, the way Ulfahine comes in is that Ulfahine is basically a secondary beastification on top of the other. So this skill only activates under a full moon, and when it does activate, it increases all of Bet's stats dramatically. So he basically has a dual beastification under the full moon. Now, Bet just made it to level 6 quite recently in the story, because the timeline is quite short, it's less than a year. When he goes beastification and uses this ability, he is now on the upper end of a level 6, almost a level 7. It doesn't give him that jump up to a whole new level, but it does get him really close. I say that he has almost a level 7's power because he took on Franny with this ability, and she was using Haruhime's level boost, so she was a level 6 at this time, and it wasn't even close. Bet was just beating her down. Franny had no chance whatsoever. Wasn't even close. It almost felt like there was a level gap between them. Next skill is Furnace Wolf, also belongs to Bet. This just increases his speed. That's all it does. Next skill is Soleimani, also Bet's. It's similar to Ryu's Aramani, which increases his power the faster he accelerates. But Bet's also increases his speed the faster he accelerates. So yeah, he has multiple skills that increase his speed, and one that increases his speed the more he increases his speed. Based on that logic, you would think that he would then have infinite speed. He would be able to just blitz like the speed of light. But no, there seems to be an upper limit. But because both of these skills compound off of each other, as a result of this, he is the fastest member of the Loki Familia. Even when he was a level 5, he was faster than all the level 6s. And as a level 6, he's still faster than all of the level 7. The only individual faster than him in all of Aurorio is Alan from the Freya Familia. Next skill is Fairy Anthem, which is Roveria's skill, and this skill increases her magic power, magical output, magical range, effectiveness of said magic. For example, if it's a healing spell, it heals even more people more effectively. Overall is just a massive buff to her magic. The only weakness is that the effect increases proportional to length of the spell, so a short chance spell won't get as much of an increase in power as a long chance spell. The next skill is Alfregina. It is, once again, Roveria's skill, and if you noticed, it has her last name because it is literally translated to the ruler elf. There is an entire squad in the Loki Familia that is completely elven, and the reason for that is this skill. This entire squad, which is referred to by A, the Fairy Force, and B, a mobile fortress, is because of this skill. First off, this increases Roveria's magic in all stats, and in all ways. Second, as a mage, she has a magic circle under her foot, and she can control the size of it. All elves inside that magic circle also get a boost in their magic. Once again, the Fairy Force is a moving artillery unit because of this. The front lines are magic swordsmen, the middle ground are support, and the back lines are Reveria and Leafia, who are just giant explosive artillery cannons. And what makes it even more absurd is that Reveria gets even stronger the more everyone else uses their magic, because the more magic everyone else uses, the more magic is dispersed into the air, which then the magic circle then absorbs, pumps it back into Reveria, restoring both her mana reserves and her mind, which then allows her to use this skill even more to increase the strength of her troops. Now, their mind doesn't get increased, they have to use elixirs for that, or dual potions, but still, the Fairy Force is almost completely self-sufficient, all because of this one skill that Reveria has, and she got it because of her royal blood. Alright, that was part 2 of Danmachi skills. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, subscribe, give a thumbs up so you enjoy more Danmachi and other many things. Thank you, and have a great day.